So we give you the diet to follow, and you're trying to figure out another way to lose weight. So what is your objective coming here? What do you want us to do? We're going to see if you can get some changes made on your eating habit. And if you do that, I'll work with you.
Okay.
But if you're not able to lose weight, then not much we can. Decided to follow with physical therapy to help you start getting out of your chair. And you didn't do that. And you were supposed to lose 40 pounds over the last month. But insane.
What happens when delusion meets reality? On my 600 pounds life, some patients are convinced they're on the right track, only to be confronted by the harsh truth from Dr. Now. Whether it's ignoring dietary advice or downplaying the severity of their condition, these delusions are exposed in the most brutal and often hilarious ways. Dr. Now's tough love shows just how far off course they are, but you wouldn't believe how harsh those reality checks can be at times. On top of that, how baffling the delusions are. This kind of out-of-touch mindset only makes matter worse. The prime example of that is our first patient, Penny, whose misery doesn't stop her from being dangerously delusional.
I think that she's total denial.
A little bit of lunch. We all needed it so bad.
I'm just hoping that this will be the turning point. I just don't know if she's ever gonna lose the weight.
Penny managed to get a meeting with Dr. Now since her body's on the brink of shutting down. And what does she do on the way there? Eat like it's her last meal. Her loved ones are scared for her life, but she doesn't care. Either day, they're all hoping that the doc can talk some sense into Penny and get her the help she desperately needs. The most baffling part is the way she reacts when she finally meets Dr. Now.
Oh.
I'm Dr. Nazardan.
Hi.
You glad you're here now?
I have to tell you, doctor, when you and I spoke, you ended the call with, "I'm gonna help you." And that meant everything to me. Those words gave me the strength to come.
We'll take care of you. You're gonna be all right.
The contrast is stark. This is the same person who was munching on burgers and whatnot a bit ago. However, in front of Dr. Now, she behaves as though she's terrified of her condition. Granted, she might really be worried, but the delusion is starting to show. This person doesn't realize that their habits are making the problem worse, and Dr. Now soon finds that out.
You been turning the oxygen off?
I'm on oxygen 24 hours a day.
But if your oxygen saturation is better than mine, why do you need to have oxygen?
I don't know the technical reason, but at 20 minutes, my fingers and lips get blue. Like right now, I'm starting to be very uncomfortable without the oxygen.
Okay, we will turn it back on, okay?
Yeah.
Penny got a lot of issues. Some of them are real, some of them are imaginary. She seems like she played a role of being a victim and encouraging family to be enabler.
She's literally making the situation worse with this victim mentality. Her oxygen saturation is perfectly fine, but she has deluded herself into believing otherwise. Why is she making up so many imaginary issues? As if she doesn't have a dozen real issues to deal with. Dr. Now's judgment is spot on. It's the victim mindset made worse by enabling family members. The question is, will the doc be able to get her out of this mess? Well, he tried, but Penny's not even willing to get up from the bed.
He is unwilling to get up and walk around. I'm not sure why she doesn't want to do that.
You sure you don't want to sit up? Or if I can walk, there is true miracles in the world. That's like having piano surgery on your hand. Doc, can I play piano now? Oh, I've done a great job. Sure, you can play piano. That's great because I couldn't before surgery.
If she doesn't get up and walk, she's not going to be able to maintain weight loss.
You want to sit up a little bit?
I'm getting concerned about her.
They gave her a surgery and she should be able to walk now. However, she has mentally given up and refuses to even try. What's worse is that she's being sassy with the doctor instead of cooperating. If she tried, she might have even been able to play the piano in the future. But no, Penny would rather eat nonstop and delude herself into thinking that she's working hard. Perhaps she needs psychological help more than medical help. At any rate, Penny's job is to continually lose more weight, and that's a task she considers impossible. What's worst is that she lies to Dr. Now's face.
Penny, how are you? How many times you eating?
3 times that's it.
Are you able to finish the whole thing you eating?
A meal? No. I'm
The
like,
less you eat, the better it is.
I'm like 5 or 6
but
plates
the miracle
right
is
now.
happening that you haven't lost any weight.
No, I've definitely lost weight.
Okay, well, let's check your stomach, okay?
Keep in there. Oh, you don't want to go that low.
Really, your belly doesn't look like you have lost anything.
Oh my God, I used to have a wad like this to take my needles, and now it's this.
Even children are better at lying than her. And why would you even want to lie when it's a matter of life and death? One look at her and you can tell that she hasn't lost any weight. Who does she think she's fooling by saying she only eats 3 times a day? We're not buying it, and Dr. Now definitely isn't either. At this point, even the doctor seems done with her delusions. Really, she might be her own greatest enemy here. She was discharged from the hospital and sent home to continue the weight loss. Sometime later, Dr. Now brought her back for a follow-up, and what he discovered was absolutely insane.
You haven't lost any weight. You gained weight since the surgery, okay? You should be right now walking. You should be around 250 pounds.
I feel that the scales were wrong in the beginning and that I weighed more than what that was. I've been putting it all out there.
Look, Penny, quit crying because this is for your benefit, okay? You know how many people like you, I signed their death certificate, and later on I thought, what could I have done to get across to them? And I'm not getting across to you either.
Not only has she not lost more weight, she's gaining it back. The scale doesn't lie, but in Penny's delusional world, the scale is wrong. No wonder she was ghosting Dr. Now, because she knows she hasn't made any progress. There's just no talking sense into them when the walls of delusion are so high around them. She's constantly making excuses that she has lost weight somehow. It makes no sense. The scale obviously isn't lying. After this, Dr. Now tried his best, but Penny refused to listen and dropped the program. Penny at least felt bad about her lack of progress. However, this next patient, James, didn't even bother to do that much. He's shamelessly delusional.
And I just feel like I'm this burden on my family that's waiting to die. Because I won't stop eating.
I worry about James because every year it seems like he gains 20 or 30 more pounds. It's breaking my heart, and I can't really take it much longer. But he's bedridden, so I'm an enabler. I bought this food and I carry the food to him, but I don't know how to stop.
James is an utter mess in every sense of the word. His life is so miserable that anybody would feel sympathy for him, but the problem lies in his attitude. He's delusional through and through. He knows he's a burden on his family, yet he won't stop eating. What's worse is what his family has to go through. They're suffering, especially his wife. She can't help but feed him, and it's ruining her happiness. Jigglypuff here set up a meeting with Dr. Now, but he can't afford it since he needs special transport. His family started a funding campaign to try and raise the money, and here's how much they managed to get.
And we've only been able to raise a little over $300. That's nowhere near what I need, so I'm really depressed right now. And I don't know what to do except eat. Because what's the point of being on any diet if I can't get help?
Plate's a little full. I hope you can eat it. I might have to get you something to hold it up with.
We tried everything. Dr. Nelzarden's tried everything, including fighting and arguing with the insurance company.
So let me get this straight. He can't travel because he's too big. He can't raise money for an ambulance, and he still won't stop eating. How delusional do you have to be to make the problem worse by eating more? It's like he wants someone else to do the hard work for him. His wife, no matter how tragic her situation, is complicit in this. She's an enabler. She argues that James gets cranky and yells at them if she doesn't feed him what he wants. The doc isn't buying that nonsense, so he confronts James about it.
James, if they don't bring you food, what are you going to do to her? Scream, yell?
You usually argue with her?
That's all.
Well, I get mad.
What are you coming to Houston for? We don't have a miracle for you. I talked to you, I talked to her, and what I see here, this is not a weight loss.
I just talked to you for the first time. I think, 4 months ago?
4 months is enough to lose 100 pounds, to get under 600 pounds.
Really?
Yes. You know, there's not much.
The situation here is getting comical. What's Mr. Cannonball going to do if his wife stops feeding her? Yell? Argue? He can't even get out of bed or walk. It's all just an excuse, and they're both expecting some sort of miracle cure that doesn't require hard work and effort. Too bad the world doesn't run on their delusional standards. Sometime later, James' situation got worse, so more drastic measures were needed.
You're stable, but your body is barely functioning. If you continue with this path that you're doing right now, I don't think you're gonna live more than a month or two. So I need you and your family to understand how serious this situation is. Everything about how you think of food has to change, and it has to change now.
James had a heart failure and his body was collapsing. As a last-ditch effort, Dr. Now attempted to give him a reality check, hoping that James would come back to his senses. They put him on an even stricter diet of only 800 calories and admitted him to the hospital for a month. At this rate, James has only a couple months to either fix his lifestyle or face the deadly consequences. His delusion is hurting everyone, especially his wife and daughter. It's now or never. Considering what James does next, it seems like the latter.
And to be enjoyed. So I just had to find a balance between the things I enjoy and what I need to do. I just had to stay on top of it all and make sure I don't overdo it one way or the other. I know I'm making good progress, so surgery is the next step. And I'm hoping I get approved the next time I see the doctor and he sees how far I've come.
They were never financially well off, but instead of utilizing what they had to change their lives, they wasted the opportunity. Now James is back to gobbling cheesecakes like there's no tomorrow. At this rate, there will be no tomorrow for him. He keeps saying life is meant to be enjoyed, but is this misery enjoyable? He can't function like a normal person, so where's the fulfillment in that? What you're seeing is typical addiction gone incredibly wrong. Dr. Now is fed up with this idiocy.
There is no way that James is eating only 800 calories a day, because he looks bigger now than the day I met him. And he followed the diet, he had lost at least 300 pounds. James has a delusional view of things, but you can't lie your way out of a heart attack.
I don't know what we're doing wrong, and
Even after having a heart failure and looking bigger than before, James continues to say he's been dieting properly. Didn't we just see him inhaling cake earlier? Dr. Nam knows how delusional he is, and nobody can deny it at this point. That's just a delusion on its own. What happens when it's paired with toddler-like behavior and constant tantrums? You get our next patient, Lisa.
My daughter is so scared I'ma go to sleep and not wake up. I've done this to myself, and I'm killing myself. This is not the life I wanted. My life is a mess. I need help. I don't want to die like this.
Lisa's life is nothing short of a nightmare. She knows how bad it has gotten. It's a mess. Her family fears for her death, but despite all that, Lisa isn't ready to give up overeating, and it's costing her dearly. At the very least, she says she needs help and wants to turn things around. But will she accept the help that's offered to her? Or will she continue to ruin herself? She got on Dr. Now's program, and he set her up with a proper diet that'll help her lose weight drastically. However, Lisa's reaction is a bit concerning.
This diet has no carbs and no sugar.
Okay.
I'm also going to send you some exercises I want you to do in your bed, because we need to start you to get active.
Okay.
You actually look to possibly closer to 700, Lisa.
No.
And being at that weight and being immobile, it is not a good scenario. You're likely not going to survive this year. So you need to start making changes now.
Yes, sir.
What's with behaving like a toddler and constant denial that these people are so in love with? The doc gave a simple diet, one with no sugars and carbs since they're calorically dense. And calories are the last things Lisa needs right now. Then she has the audacity to complain like it's optional. She's easily around 700 pounds and her body's giving up. Just imagine the amount of pressure her bones have to endure every single minute. She says she wishes to change and doesn't want to die, but this behavior is concerning. And let's just say her attitude keeps getting worse.
The paramedics have to reinforce the ramp they'll use to get me out of the house. I can't believe it's come to this. But at least I'm doing something about it before it's too late.
That's the most delusional, self-serving comment I've ever heard. She almost seems proud of the fact that the paramedics have to make sure she doesn't cause an earthquake. At least she's doing something about it. But that'd be more convincing if she wasn't munching on a sugary cereal while all of this was happening. She's just lying to herself at this point. What's worse is that she's now lying to Dr. Now.
You thought you were at 642 when we talked, so you're a good bit off. And my concern is that if you stuck to the diet I send you, you should have easily been able to lose good amount of weight.
I don't believe it's gained in weight.
You clearly didn't stick to the diet.
No.
You have not lost weight and you're significantly overweight.
Okay, all I want to do is get cleaned up. I'm not even gonna fight you.
This is not up for debate.
How do you underestimate your weight by a hopping 60 pounds? She has crossed the 700-pound threshold and still doesn't care enough. To nobody's surprise, she didn't follow the diet she was given and her progress is non-existent. She's behaving like a child who doesn't understand how grave the problem is. Dr. Now decides to admit her to the hospital where she's put on a controlled diet. She lost quite a lot of weight, so they discharged her to lose the rest at home. Guess what happened? It's more obvious than you think.
Okay, so double cookies and cream and lasagna.
Let me see, because I didn't know Herbert went to the store today.
Okay, Lisa, I can tell you that if Herbert's eating this, you're eating it too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm trying to get to. Remember, you don't have to be honest with me, you have to be honest with you, because this is about you.
Yes.
You cannot lose weight if you are eating these foods.
Yep, she gained weight again because she didn't stick to her diet. She kept blaming her boyfriend, saying all that food was for him and she doesn't eat it. Oh really, Lisa? The audacity to deny that she inhales all that food is wild. Of course, she got caught and admitted the truth. Her next checkup with Dr. Now seals the deal on her delusional thing.
I gave you a simple goal to lose 30 pounds. Instead, you gained 30 pounds. If you stuck to the diet, you would have lost that in 2 weeks. So you're playing games and lying to me, saying you're not hungry, when you're clearly still overeating.
He keeps me on my regular diet.
Stop with the games, Lisa. You and I both know that's not true.
She just keeps failing simple stuff. That's shameful, really. If she had stuck to the diet, she would have succeeded. And it's not like she can hide the weight, so what's the point of lying? We can all see your circumference keeps increasing, Lisa. She says she's sticking to her regular diet, which is probably the entire McDonald's menu. Till the very end, Lisa continues to be delusional, and it's clear that nobody can help her, especially since she's not willing to help herself. While on the topic of refusing help and drowning in delusion, meet the next patient, Jean.
I hate my life. I feel like I'm living the same miserable day over and over again. I'm hardly able to move because of my size. So most of the day I can't even get up from my chair. And when I do, I'm not able to go far.
Jean's living the worst life imaginable. She's dependent on others for even the most basic human functions like going to the toilet or taking a bath. What makes it even more terrible is that all of this is her own doing. Sure, Jean had a very troubling past, but now she refuses to take responsibility for her life and move away from the continuous cycle of excuses. She's living in a delusion, and it only becomes more evident by the minute. Perhaps the prime display of that is how she blames others for her problems.
I can see people already staring at me and probably making comments about how big I am. and I don't need to deal with that. So I'm just not getting out because people are jerks.
First off, smoking when you're that wide is baffling. That's making her life more miserable on purpose. Then she's blaming everyone else for staring at her and not focusing on how horizontally challenged she is. Granted, she does have a point. People should not stare and ridicule someone like that, but that doesn't justify her self-destructive behavior. She's used to this delusional way of thinking, but it all changed when she met Dr. Now for the first time. And let's just say that the reality check was a bit too harsh for her.
Well, how do you think we address that?
I think getting the weight loss surgery, I think that would help.
What is the problem that you think the solution is weight loss surgery?
Because I'm too heavy and I can't do it without it.
Okay, so you decided already what the solution is for your problem.
Why does she keep insisting that getting the surgery would somehow fix all her issues? It's clear that the underlying eating disorder is what's causing the entire mess, but refuses to acknowledge it, let alone do something about it. Dr. Now refuses to accept her delusional mindset and denies her for the surgery without proof. He wants to be sure that she wouldn't just relapse and regain all the weight again.
That's a lot, but you're still leaving a lot out because that won't get you up to over 700 pounds. So you're already blaming your weight on other things, and now you're lying to me about how much you eat. So I'm very concerned right now.
Lying to yourself and being delusional is one thing, but Lee made the rookie mistake of lying to a doctor about his area of expertise. She claims that she doesn't eat much, but all you need is a single glance at her to realize the truth of the matter. This vicious cycle of blaming her weight on external factors and then lying about it is what's keeping her stuck in this loop of low self-esteem. Either way, Dr. Now gives her a chance to prove her dedication by setting a weight loss goal, and a very realistic one at that. To nobody's surprise, she failed. Guess what excuse she came up with this time?
If I wasn't focused, I wouldn't have stopped smoking, and I wouldn't have stopped soda.
Okay, you're giving yourself a really good pass because
No, I'm not giving myself a pass, but it means that I can do it.
that's two bad habits you had. You're taking them away, but you're not making any progress, and you think this is something that we should...
I didn't get fat overnight, and it's not gonna take a couple weeks or a month or whatever. Everybody's different, and I'm gonna do it.
The delusion here is off the charts. She thinks she deserves brownie points or actual brownies for doing something as basic as losing a few pounds of weight and quitting smoking. The point is, given that she's practically at death's door, her progress is negligible and doesn't warrant this entitled behavior. Sure, she didn't gain that weight overnight, but it is perfectly possible to lose a good amount in 2 months when you're built like a truck. What happens next is just baffling.
And I lost our whole world. So right now, I know the best decision for me to just stay here and focus on getting past this. And maybe in the future, if I have the chance, I can try to get help and weight loss surgery again. But right now, it's not the right time for me to give up food. I'm not in a place physically or mentally to do that.
She blames the doctor for everything and just quits the program. She claims that one understands her, but those are all just excuses. Granted, her circumstances are incredibly difficult, but that should motivate her to not make them worse. Some people never understand. If they won't listen to reason, the best we can do is expose their delusions the way Dr. Now does. That's something you can help with by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.